The story begins with a scene of devastation, with the protagonist lying on the ground, bloodied and beaten. His face is pitiful, his body broken, and he seems to be on the verge of death. He looked up at the sky, struggling to stay conscious, and as he held a red stone, he watched as it disappeared into the air. It was at that moment that he realized he was dying, despite being humanity's strongest warrior. He couldn't understand why, even though he had almost killed all of the 7-fin demons, there was still an 8-fin demon in the steel of the ancient king. As he looked at the demon that was attacking him, he realized how humans had failed to understand the extent of the demon's powers. It was all his fault for not living up to the name of the strongest warrior. The demon and the protagonist locked eyes, and he wondered what it was trying to do. He was on the verge of closing his eyes, and he saw the monster's left hand reaching out to him. He wonders if the demon is trying to torment his corpse for killing so many of its subordinates. Then everything went black, and he uttered, "Darkness. So this is death." He sees a tiny light and calls out to it. Suddenly, a bright light envelopes him, and someone shouted, "Salute!" When he opened his eyes, he was confused and disoriented. He looked at his right hand, and everything felt so realistic. He couldn't believe what was happening, and he was struggling to understand why he was alive when he had just died. The reality of his situation hit him hard, and he wondered where his handsome, rugged face and chiseled physique had gone. He shouted, "Who am I? Where am I?" while holding his head and looking at the sky, confused and lost. In the year 3069, Helios City was the last bastion of humanity against the demons that had flooded the world through the 6 enormous steels of the ancient king, bringing the apocalypse with them. After a brutal battle that nearly drove humanity to extinction, the humans finally found a way to fight back against the demons by crafting equipment from their internal cores. The strongest and greatest human soldier of all time, Ang, led the warriors of the world against the demons in the strongest demonic wave in history, which lasted for weeks and plunged humanity into darkness. Eventually, the warriors managed to push back the demonic wave, causing the demons to suffer a tremendous loss in exchange for 60 years of peace and progress for mankind. As the protagonist listens to the story, he realizes that he was reincarnated 60 years later and is shocked. The third squadron leader, Jia Yao Tang, emphasizes the importance of becoming a warrior, representing protection and hope for humanity. However, the protagonist is distracted by a discrepancy in the story. He remembers seeing an 8-fin demon, not a 7-finned one, and wonders if humanity still has not really understood the extent of the demon's capabilities. As the squadron leader notices the protagonist's confusion, he walks up to him and asks for his name. The protagonist hesitates, wondering if he should reveal that he is Ang reincarnated into a weak and skinny body. However, before he can answer, the squadron leader sees his nameplate and realizes that he shares the same name as the greatest warrior of all time, Ang. Disappointed in his lack of warrior spirit, the squadron leader punches him in the face, causing her to wonder this trash new body is really so weak that it cannot even react to such a simple attack. The squadron leader announces that the trainees should proceed to the physical fitness test, and Ang is told he will be watched closely during the upcoming warrior examination. As the trainees make their way to the examination, a guy named Lan Sinua approaches Ang and introduces himself. He praises Ang's name and says that they should get along. However, Situlu, another trainee, ridicules Ang for sharing the same name as the legendary Ang. Ang is furious and asks why she cares about his name. Lan Sinua explains that Situlu is the most anticipated evaluation soldier of their batch, and she is nicknamed the cold-blooded demon. Suddenly, a girl named Suiji Yui approaches them and takes a picture of Ang and Lan Sinua, praising their radiating bromance. In the physical fitness test, Ang was feeling pretty confident during the physical fitness test. He was telling himself that he was going to crush it and show everyone what he was made of. But boy, did he fall short. Like really short. He ended up getting last place, and even managed to break the worst record in the entire history of the long-distance run assessment. Ouch! To make matters worse, during the arm strength test, Ang managed to twist his wrist. And when it came time for the leg strength test, he only managed to jump 1 centimeter. Yep, you heard that right. 1 centimeter. This performance earned him yet another round of ridicule from Situlu. And as if all that wasn't bad enough, the evaluator gave on the devastating news that he was the first from the back and on the verge of being eliminated. Lan Sinyo comforts Ong, while Ong lying on the ground feeling hopeless due to his poor performance. Suiji Yui takes a picture of them, but she feels it's a waste of time taking pictures of someone who will be eliminated. The evaluator tells 3rd Squadron Leader Jia Yaoteng that there is no need for Ong to proceed to the second evaluation. But Jia Yaoteng decides to give Ong a chance since it's his last evaluation anyway. The next assessment test involves synchronizing one's frequency with a synthetic armor, and Ong is confident in his abilities. Ong remembers he was the strongest being 60 years ago, whose frequency synchronized over 96% with the synthetic armor. He believes that his willpower can overcome his body's limitations, and he is determined to prove his doubters wrong. As the other trainees perform their assessments, Ong watches with growing anticipation. Situlu achieves the highest score of the year with a synchronized frequency of 39%, and everyone is impressed by her strength and beauty. However, Ong remains calm and focused, his not looking satisfied with her score. Lan Sinyo comments on how pumped he feels after watching Situlu's assessment, and Ong agrees. When Lan Sinyo asks him if he is nervous, Ong replies that he is used to this kind of pressure. Throughout the assessments, there are a few soldiers who shock their peers with their abilities. Squadron Leader Jia Yaoteng notes that there are a few capable young soldiers in this batch, including Suijio Yui and 6 others with a synchronized frequency of 30% or above. Despite some soldiers having poor innate qualities, the new batch is generally strong. As Ong steps onto the stage for his assessment, his fellow trainees mock him for his skinny physique, but he remains confident. He tells them not to be too shocked until their jaws drop and prepares to synchronize his frequency with the synthetic armor. He kept laughing and confidently promised to show them what he was made of. With a determined and serious face, he stepped onto the stage and chose the red core for strength. There were 6 types of demonic monster cores, and each represented a different type of power. The red core was the most common and represented strength, while the others were yellow for defense, green for recovery, blue for agility, purple for supernatural abilities, and black for time and space. As Ong began to synchronize with the core, the other trainees watched in amazement as a bright red light emanated from him. Even the evaluator was shocked as Aang's synchronization quickly rose to over 40. Suijio, Lan, and Situlu were amazed by Aang's display, realizing that he had been playing Loki with them. The squadron leader and his assistant were equally shocked and worried as the synchronization continued to rise to 70% and then 80%. The other trainees began to panic, wondering if Aang was cheating or if there was something wrong with his armor. But Aang simply laughed and declared himself to be the strongest soldier, admired by all. However, just as the synchronization reached its peak, Aang suddenly felt like he was drowning in deep water with the demon holding him in its palm. His red core began to crack, and he started to spit blood. The evaluator was furious, thinking that there was something wrong with Aang's armor, and the synchronization immediately dropped to 10%. The commander's assistant quickly checked the shattered core and confirmed that it was abnormal, causing the random numbers to appear. The commander was relieved to hear this and allowed Aang to pass the test, albeit barely. The other trainees were amused and mocked Aang once again, but this time, they couldn't deny that his synchronization was on par with that of an S-class commander if it's really real. The day had finally come for the trainees to face their final assessment. They were about to participate in their first real combat practice against a demonic monster. As the trainees stood in front of the door, the anticipation and excitement were palpable. For most of them, it was their first time venturing outside the city walls. Aang was holding a new strength core, but something felt off. He couldn't quite put his finger on it, but he knew that the problem wasn't the core. Could it be the side effect of reincarnation? He questioned himself. As he stepped outside the gate, he felt a strange sensation wash over him. It was as if he was scanning the entire area in front of him and could detect the presence of monsters. He felt a big, strong demon inside a cave. The demon inside the cave also sensed Aang's presence and was surprised to detect an even higher ranked demon. Aang couldn't believe what he was seeing and was momentarily overcome with a feeling of sympathy towards the demons. However, he He is interrupted by Situ and asked if he is leaving or not. An was assigned to a team with 3 other trainees, Si Lan Noa, Yu Hui, and Situ. They quickly gathered their things and headed out, with Yu Hui taking a selfie of the 4 of them. The trainees were gathered in front of the evaluator, who briefed them about their mission to hunt in the fog outside the wall. Each trainee was given a combat dagger and a mini fog dispelling device made of the same material as the dispelling steel. The goal was to enter the fog, get to the designated area, and hunt demons while using the fog dispeller. The evaluator had made it clear that their performance would be judged based on their individual ability and teamwork. Hunting in the fog outside the wall was the last fear the newbies needed to face in this world shrouded in fog. To become a warrior, one needed more than just physique and aptitude. A strong mentality of not being afraid of the unknown and relying on teamwork was crucial. Observing from the top of the gate was Dada Jiao, Hello Town's second captain, along with 2 other squad leaders. Dada Jiao expressed interest in Situ from the Situ family and commented on the talented newbies in the batch. The other 2 squad leaders, Joel and Jia Yao Tang, also shared their thoughts. As they watched the trainees enter the fog, Joel remarked that being born in a martial arts family could be nurtured to become an excellent warrior. Jia Yao Tang added that there was someone else worth paying attention to, and he went to check on him. Dada Jiao, the second captain of Hello Town, poked Jia Yao Tang on the head and teased him about his thoughts. Joel added fuel to the fire, reminding him that only Jiao could make his face red. The group discussed the exam's safety, and Jia Yao Tang assured them that only arranged, finless demons existed within the scope of the exam. Joel joked that even if there were unfin demons, they would do everything to protect the future warriors. As they make their way through the foggy forest, suddenly Situ grabbed the mini fog dispelling device that An was holding and started running, urging her team to keep up with her. An was annoyed, feeling like Situ only cared about being in the spotlight. Situ jumped high into the air, landing gracefully on the dispelling device socket. Despite her still recovering core, Situ's physique was impressive, and Jiao commented on her true capabilities as someone from a martial arts family background. But as they were running, 3 demons approached Situ at once. An shouted for Sinuo to make a path for them, and used his power to jump and land in front of Situ, creating a barrier blocking the demons. Commander Jia Yao Tang was impressed with Sinuo's skills. He noted that Sinuo was already very skilled in utilizing the strength of the core. As the battle continued, An commanded the group to take out the demons one by one. Yui stepped up, delivering powerful kicks to the demon. Sinuo followed with a punch to the stomach. Joel is surprised at how well the 2 of them are cooperating, and how Yohui's body seems to move more rhythmically with her blue agility core. Then it was Situlu's turn to shine. She stabbed a demon with her dagger, and as it turned green, she jumped back and proudly said, "Explode!" causing the demon to explode in a spectacular display. Finally, it was Aang's turn to take on a demon. He confidently targeted all 3 of its vital points, cutting its neck, chest, and abdomen. He then rolled and stabbed his dagger into the ground to slow his movement. With the demon weakened, Aang saw this as an opportunity to test his body's capabilities. He dashed forward to the monster with explosive force.